Welcome to a year-ending Taking It to the Nub. I'm your host, Boston Jimmy, and tonight we have part two. This is the second year that we're doing the Smoke Intense special. This is the end of the year. This is the last show of Taking It to the Nub. And all I know is that right about now, there are people that are struggling with such things as this. Yeah. I think that was out in Nebraska or somewhere. I mean, tons of snow coming in, freezing cold. And with all of that temperature drops and all of that snow, we always ask, where do people up north smoke cigars, especially if they don't have a lounge near them? So I'm going to come back over here to the panel for a second. And we're going to ask that question, and we're going to find out what they're doing. And there are some that are on here that are going to learn because they're in cold areas and they don't have one. So please ask questions, and we will keep this show rolling. So let me just ask everybody to unmute. All right. And we're going to start. We're going to start real fast. Introduce yourselves. Just go around the room and start with Jeff Walsh.
How you doing? My name is Jeff.
And Jeff, where you from?
Boynton Beach, Florida.
Good. What are you smoking tonight?
Rocky Patel, Sun-Grown Maduro.
All right.
Large
Shane.
press.
Shane Meyer. Thanks for having me back again. I was on this last year for it. Madison, Wisconsin, freezing. You know, the true meaning of needing the smoke hut.
What are you smoking in that tent of yours?
Atabay.
Oh, right on. Nice. Awesome. Barry Bones Argento.
Barry Bones Argento. I'm in, well, what's supposed to be southern warm Mississippi, but not quite as warm. And I'm smoking a painkiller by 5.5 Legs that Doc Rodriguez made for our podcast on Tuesdays.
All right, all right. And Dan?
Dan Marsh. I'm outside of Philadelphia, and I'm not smoking because I don't have a tent.
Man, got to get one.
Yes.
And Casey, welcome.
Hi, guys. I'm digging into a bowl of chili. I am in Memphis, Tennessee. So I'm a little bit north of you over there in Mississippi, but it was like 60 earlier today. So
really?
Yes, it was nice
Wow.
up here. But I'm from, who is it? Shane that's from Madison? I'm from Milwaukee, born and raised, Shane.
Are you
So
awesome.
yeah, I left Milwaukee about 6 years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, so I've been down south for 6 years, but it's pretty decent here. I got a space heater. I've got my drapery on my balcony, but I've done it when it's been in the mid-20s, so it's good for me.
There you go.
And of course,
I'm smoking Placencia Almafuerte.
All right. And of course, I'm your host, Boston Jimmy, and I am from Melbourne, Florida, north of where Jeff is. I was actually in Jacksonville for Christmas time, and it was like 20 degrees. And yeah, I had the experience of sitting outside with heaters surrounding us and a smokeless fire pit just loaded with wood just to stay warm to smoke cigars. And even then, I couldn't take it anymore because my hands still were getting cold. And I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going in the house.
Hey, but do those smokeless fire pits actually work?
No, they're not smokeless. Unless you get it really packed in the bottom, okay, with fiery ash, because there's a grate, and then it kind of heats up around it. If you put the wood in and the wood's sticking out of it, no, it's exhausting smoke through the wood. So you got to get the wood down in it, and then it works itself through the holes and kind of keeps it. But yeah, it was smoky. Speaking of smoky, I'm smoking a nicely aged La Aurora broadleaf.
Oh, nice.
Got this in a Secret Santa package, so I've had this before. I like it.
Those are always fun.
Yeah.
They are some of the best ways of getting and sharing great cigars. I was
Yep.
very impressed. I was in like 4 of them this year, and I gave away some good stuff. And I tell you what, I got stuff in there which I haven't had in years. I had some that were like very yellow wrappers on them, the cello. So it's what you do, right? I mean, I highly recommend getting into Secret Santas at this time of the year. Participate. It's part of the hobby.
Definitely.
So
Yes, sir.
well, let's start with Shane here for a second. Shane, thank you for joining us one more time on this. If any of the others join us, we'll bring them in. You are using the same tent. Did you do some improvements since the last time?
I got a better heater. That's it. So when I first got this, it was trial and error. It was it's set up on my deck. My backyard is sloped. I can't do it in my backyard. So I put it on my deck, and obviously there's gaps in the deck boards and everything. So I'm figuring out, should I build a platform on it to anchor this down on? Should I lay carpets and all this stuff? So I did that for the first year, because this is my third winter having it, and the first year sucked. It absolutely sucked. I had blankets, I had towels, everything just blocking the air coming up. My deck is raised about 8 feet off the ground, so the air just whips right underneath, comes right off the deck boards. I was also only running a one ceramic 1500 watt heater, which did nothing. I mean, when it was 20 below here, I'm out here, I have the heater blowing on me, I'm bundled up, still was able to smoke.
So
Not
do those tents not have a floor in them, like a cloth floor, or?
Mine does not. Nope. So I have an actual ice fishing hut. This is an Eskimo 6-person. I forgot the name of it. It's an insulated hut. It's 99 inches by 99 inches by probably 66 inches tall. I'm 6'4". I can stand up straight in it. But what, that'd be 76 inches, 78 inches tall. But so the next year I was looking at different heaters. What can I run indoor that's safe, that's going to have a lot more heat? Mr. Heater, Big Buddy, 18,000 BTU, dual burner, hooks up to a 20-pound propane tank. That just changed everything. I don't need to do anything on the floor. I mean, nothing. I have one little rug I put down to have my heater on and just protect it from any water, melting snow or anything. And I got this heater next to me. Last week, a week ago today, we had wind chills 41 below, and I was still out here in a t-shirt and shorts.
Nice. Now, where do you
Wow.
exhaust it? How do you exhaust it out?
I have a little fan. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 windows, and then 2 vents up there also. Those vents I don't need. So one of the windows, which you can kind of see, it folds down. I have a fan, just a small little fan, and with one person, it's great. When it gets like me, my girlfriend smoking, or I have a buddy over, I usually end up cracking another window, and I try to blow it out that way. But the fan, I mean, you can just watch the smoke go right to it. I have my ceramic heater blowing towards it also. It's great.
So what would
gotta-
you say the total cost that you have put into that environment if somebody like Dan wanted to do something similar?
Well, so
What's the investment for that, for the tent and the equipment stuff that you've done?
Well, so when I was rushing to get this because it was cold, it was COVID lockdown, I couldn't go smoke. So instead of waiting for a 2-person, the Eskimo 2i or 3i, I got the only one that was in stock, which is the 6-man. So that right there was like an extra 150. So this hut was, I want to say 400, which I should have been able to get a 2-person or 3-person for 200 to 250. So that right there was unnecessary. I'm happy with it. The heater, the Mr. Buddy heater, was 120 plus the hose that you can run, actually like do a coupler into the Mr. Buddy, hook it up to the 20-pound. That was $40. All in all, oh, $5.50 ish,
There you
and
go.
worth every penny.
So Dan, 550, get yourself one of those. You got a back deck to put that on?
Yeah, I do.
If you get the bigger one,
Yeah.
you can. I know. So I got this from a guy. I think you had him on the first time, Andrew McCreary.
Oh yeah.
He was the one that he posted it, and I'm just like, this guy is a genius. I mean, he is the smartest person I've ever seen.
Huh.
You know, and he was running a 2 or 3 person Eskimo, and I know him, and then Juan. He what's his name? Yeah, whatever. But he has the same 2 or 3 man hut, and they're perfect. You get the insulated one. You don't have to do much of anything.
How do you anchor that down to the deck?
How to what?
How do you anchor that down to your deck?
I don't. So I have 3 different ratchet straps. So it's really nice where the door is on this. I can walk right from my patio door into the hut. Like, I don't have to step foot on it. I have 3 ratchet straps that are ratcheted to my deck, and that's it. As far as the anchoring it down, I don't need to. It's just physics holding it in place, and it's beautiful.
I got a friend up in New York that has a tent, maybe not that big, but he said he took a couple of the moving blankets they use when you move.
Mm-hmm.
He put those down, put the tent on top of it, and then he's got these straps he found on Amazon that go like under the boards on the deck and come up in the slots, and he hooks them up to the ties on the thing that holds his tent down.
That's
Good idea.
and I'm gonna have to look into that. I like that.
Awesome. Barry,
Shane, the wind hasn't been too bad for you though, has it?
Oh, last week we were super windy. We had
Ooh.
upwards of like 50-mile-per-hour gusts.
Oh.
When it gets that bad, if the wind is coming north, northwest, southwest, I'm fine. If it's coming straight south or straight east, I take it down. I don't mess around with it. But last week it was all west, southwest, and I kept it up, and I smoked every day.
Helps
So-
get through it helps get through the cold weather, I tell you that.
It really does.
so Barry,
Yes,
you
sir.
you were talking, you're in Mississippi, it's cold there right now, or has been. So what do you do there when it gets cold? What is your solution?
Well, I built a nice pergola. I can go out my French doors in the back to the pool. And on the other side of the pool, I got a pergola that I'm looking into you go a lot of the bars, they got the plastic sheeting that covers. I'm gonna cover that, and I got like 3 heaters in there with a TV and all that. But right now I'm like, okay, I'm in the garage. I got the door propped open. I got a fan blowing the smoke out. I got a heater going. Actually, the heater's not on right now. It's not too bad. But I smoke mostly in the garage. But I'm not going. The deck is too far of a walk. So right outside the French doors, I got 2 of those heaters that I put a little 32-inch on the shelf that I kind of snuggle up a little bit. But like you said, you go outside and it's cold. The cigars don't burn well. They just you gotta do what you gotta do, man. I mean, it's cold. I didn't plan on it being this cold down here, so.
Barry, you realize we're spoiled, right? You're talking about
Absolutely.
that's too far of a walk. Yet we don't have snow on the ground like they do up in Madison,
That's
New
true.
York, Philly, etc. We had snow for like 36 hours.
It wouldn't be so bad once I get it enclosed. Now, yeah, I'll walk out there, get it enclosed, I'll go in, I'll be good. But with no wind blockage, the wind gets pretty bad down here sometimes.
Well, that's the
But not-
problem. If you're not blocking the wind, that's what I was dealing with in Jacksonville this week. Was we had the heaters all around us, so if the wind didn't come through, you were kind of like feeling the warmth. But as soon as the wind kind of blew through once in a while, and it was moist. It was that moist cold you were talking about, Shane. My hands just got frigidly cold, and it was just uncomfortable. And you begin to feel it. It starts you getting into that cold soak. A certain part of your body is trying to find a warm spot. right? You know, where's the heat?
Oh, yeah.
Where-
Yep.
you know what
Casey, I
mean?
gotta get a hold of you when the friends of ours down here, we're supposed to go up to Beale Street for the Beale Street Cigar Festival this year. And,
Talk to me.
Not worth it?
Okay, we'll leave that for later.
all right, we'll leave it at
Yeah.
that then.
So Casey, what you have this set up on your patio?
Yeah, so girl born and raised in Wisconsin, my place of smoke when it was cold out was going to be my truck. It just, my friends who didn't smoke weren't fans, but some decent room deodorizer, it worked. I've been in the
Without.
place. What was that?
Whiff out. Is it whiff out, Jimmy?
Whiff
With
out
the-
works.
Yeah,
And
it
the
works
other one
great.
is
I
ozonate.
used-
Ozonate works too.
Well, and there's another one, the depth works really good. And I found like a citrus one that works amazingly. I use it in the rental cars
Good.
when I smoke in the
Good.
rental cars. And I've not gotten charged for anything. But I have a balcony right off my bedroom at the house here. It's great in the summertime, overlooks the pool. But it's cold enough, I'm a Wisconsin girl, but it's cold enough. And my blood has thinned out in my 6 years in Tennessee. So it's got I guess a banister with the little rungs and everything. And it's open on three sides, the balcony. So this will be my third winter here. And I finally was like, you know what? I tried some like kind of curtains and things like that. It didn't really work. I finally took some time, probably about a month on Amazon. I ordered shit. I opened it up, felt it, sent it on back. And I finally found some outdoor curtains they've got to be like 8 feet long. Like they're meant to hang from like pergolas and outdoor spaces, but they're thicker and they're like waterproof. So the wind doesn't get through them. The water doesn't. When we had the storm last week and the wind was whipping and I heard like the sleet coming down, on the width of if you can, where did you guys go? Hold on a second.
We're here.
If you, oh shit, hold on, I keep moving stuff. Well, if I enlarge the screen, there we go. So I'll just do like up there. I just did an extendable shower curtain on both ends. I did that, and that holds the curtains up just fine. And then on the length of it, I got one of those wires that people use for room dividers, and I hung the curtains from that. I put a couple hooks up just so they don't gap, because the wire stretches out, and they're fine. When it gets a little windy, I use a couple of my chairs to just kind of hold it up against the wall, and it's been fine. I've got this here is just a shower curtain I bought just for visual aesthetics, and then let me see if I can show the other one. If I can rotate my camera. I can't. I don't know how to rotate my camera on this laptop. It's a new one. But I have another one that's got like the brandy snifter with the cigar and an ashtray on the other wall per se. But
Nice.
I've just got a space heater. It's like a strong one for the house. I think it's like 1500 watts. And I mean, I just dress decently. I throw on a sweater or a hoodie, some sweatpants. I haven't had to put gloves on. When I came out when it was cold last week, I brought the gloves, but I was like smoking and gloves, that's gonna be a pain in the ass. I didn't have to put them on. So I was like,
You don't have
I did it.
smoking gloves?
No, well, no, I'm just saying smoking with gloves, it's just a pain when you can't really hold your cigar the way you want to. So, I mean, I think it was 24 when I was out here smoking last week.
Ooh,
Wow.
So, but it didn't feel like it. Like I said, I had to take my jacket off. I was comfortable. Now, if it's somebody else out here, I don't know because I have the space heater directly on me. But I need to. There's been some sales on the ones on Amazon. So I said I'd look at a couple of those. They have, the ones that are made for the garage and whatnot. I just don't want to deal with butane because I don't want to deal with trying to exhaust it and all the things.
So the Mr. Heater, Big Buddy and Little Buddy, you don't have to exhaust it. It's indoor safe.
Okay. And are they plug-in or are they?
It's gas, but you don't have to exhaust. It's 100% indoor safe. It has O2 sensors in it. If you don't have any exhaust, I mean, I just have a window open, and that's
Right.
it. And I've even just shut it to see if it would shut off. It never shut off.
Okay.
It's get if you, I mean, I deal with extreme cold, 20s, 30s, 40s. Get the Mr. Heater Little Buddy 9,000 BTU. You'll be fine.
Because I mean, and in general, I have exhaust because this has got like where I've got the curtains hanging, but it's got kind of like a rafters above it where it's open.
Yep.
So there's some exhaust.
Well, and you
So-
probably have gaps in the deck board also, right?
Well, I technically, yes, but I did wrap that because of the wind that comes
Okay.
from that direction. I wrapped it with, like the privacy
well,
thing that you can put on the decks.
Underneath.
Oh, it's concrete.
Oh, you're
It's-
on a concrete pad. Okay, I
Yep,
got you.
it's
I
solid.
gotcha.
It's a balcony off the house. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You get that
Okay.
heater, it's going to change your smoking experience. It did
Yeah.
mine. I
Yeah,
started off
I
with the
mean-
9,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I've been lucky so far. This was the best thing I did. Like I said, I tried like little shower curtains, and I'm like, oh, these have no weight. They're flimsy. These curtains themselves have weight, so I haven't really had to weight them down. So Bones, it's definitely worth looking into. I'll send I'll put a link in on Jimmy's page or whatever, so you can
Okay.
see which ones I'm talking about. Because they come in different lengths, they come in different colors, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, the
Those,
wife's
those
gotta have the
might
right
be
color.
good just to hang in front of my garage door, even when it's a nice day out.
Right, because sometimes you don't want to be bothered by the neighbors, but you still need a breeze.
Yeah, my my neighbors know this is the guy that sits in his garage and works and smokes cigars all day. So,
Excellent,
it's good.
excellent.
it's fine. Now, have you seen some others now from last year to now? Any improvements? You see anybody who's doing any improvements on theirs or changing things based on last year's discussions?
Me personally, no. I still am in contact with Juan Rios. That's the other guy that has it. Andrew, I haven't seen him much, but I feel like once you have it down, you just, especially something like this, why change it? I was going to build a platform once I had it down last year with the better heater. I didn't need to. I'm not going to take the time and build a platform when not needed.
Now, how much snow have you gotten up there?
Not much this year.
Okay.
Last week we had, starting Wednesday, it was high winds, sleet, ice, maybe 8 inches. But I mean, today's high was 40 degrees. Tomorrow's high is 50 degrees. And then the 14-day outlook were upper 30s, lower 40s.
So,
But-
so those
I just
10
laugh
foot-
at that relative version of snow. How much snow? Oh, not much, 8 inches. Those of us
There-
down south are like 8 inches. The mid-south will be shut down.
Oh,
Yes, it would.
yeah.
They
Anything,
close everything down here when we get like a little bit of ice because there's bridges everywhere going. You gotta take a bridge wherever you go to go anywhere. But
well,
how would those handle? Like these folks are up in Buffalo right now, like 8 feet of snow, man. I mean,
Oh, so
More than
you're
that.
obviously going to need to clear out around it. Do a weatherproofing on it every year. Water repellent and all that stuff. One hit right in the middle, the snow just falls right off.
oh, nice. Okay.
Nice.
So one time when I first got it, I never thought, okay, well the roof collapses in. So it was snowing, hard, heavy snow, and I'm sitting and on a Zoom with like Steve from Frontline and all that.
I
and the roof-
remember that.
Oh yeah, you were on it, yeah. And the roof fell in. I'm like, that was terrifying. Okay, but that was easy fix. I just did the water repellent, and now water just slides right off it. Snow, if it builds up on it, one punch right in the middle, it's off.
Oh, there
There
you
you
go.
go. Lesson learned.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for our brothers and sisters up in Buffalo. Like, I wonder how many
yeah.
of those, for the folks that are of age, I wonder how many of those folks will be putting up for sale signs and moving south. Because back to back, before winter even starts, to have that much snow, that's ridiculous.
That happened 10 years, 11 years ago, 10 years ago.
If I
Um,
did it 10 years
When
ago,
I was
Jimmy,
up in Detroit, all right,
Mhm.
they had 96 inches of snow that year.
No.
And I'll tell you what, I was up there on a 3-month assignment with my wife and my dog, and I would go outside we were staying at a Town Place Suites in Dearborn, and I would stand outside and smoke a cigar, and it's like, I can't do this. I got to find a shop. So my journey was not smoking tents, but I went and found a shop. But in the good grace of it all, that's how Stogie Press was born, by going to that shop. So it became something like, wow, I guess shops are important too.
When I got my orders to come down here, my snowblower was gone the day after I got my orders, and I vowed never to ever to put on a Carhartt snowblower, anything ever again.
Where are you
Me-
from?
Originally
me
from New
take a-
York, but I moved here from Omaha, Nebraska 10 years ago.
Either or, take your pick.
Let me take a quick break here. You guys can go get a drink. We're gonna do a quick shout out to the sponsors. And then when we come back, we'll keep this conversation going. And maybe we could throw a little cigar stuff in too and discuss things.
Introducing Blackened Cigars, M81 by Drew Estate. A dark, bold, and unapologetic cigar collaboration.
My job is all about taste. So when James mentioned he wanted to create an exclusive cigar, I was
Great
stoked.
cigar.
Like Metallica, Drew Estate has some of the most hardcore fans out there. I've known Rob Dietrich for years, and when he approached me to collaborate on this, we couldn't be more excited. I mean, Metallica, Black and Whiskey, and Drew Estate, what could be a better passion project?
We all came up with a vision of what a blackened M81 cigar would look and taste like. M81, Metallica, formed in 1981, as you can see right here, just so I don't forget. And now you won't forget because it's on this.
We needed to craft a cigar unlike anything in our portfolio.
One that would take cigar fans on the deepest, darkest, heaviest journey into the mystical world of Maduro.
Full-bodied with notes of espresso, leather, and dark chocolate. A wrapper, a binder, a filler that is all Maduro, and they are all grown in separate places.
You talk about a heavy leaf cigar. This is beyond passion. This shit is straight amplification.
Blackened Cigar M81 by Drew Estate is bold, rich, and powerful enough to satisfy the most experienced cigar connoisseur, but also balanced that new cigar lovers can enjoy its tantalizing smoking experience as well.
Blackened Cigars, M81 by Drew Estate. Coming soon.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
And today's show is brought to you by Bocock Brothers Cigars, a new and active brand founded by two Honduran brothers, Bryant and Douglas Bocock. The brand zeroes in on those folks that are looking for easy-to-smoke cigars inspired by unusual circumstances. Very importantly named after their very interesting and imitable last name, Bocock. Right now, Bocock Brothers is featuring their signature edition, made at the A.J. Fernandez factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. It features an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, a Nicaraguan Habano binder, and a Nicaraguan filler. Available in 3 popular formats, a Robusto, a Toro, and a Gordo. You can check out Bocock Brothers Cigars at www.bocockbrothers.com. The year was 1947, and the Rodriguez family began the masterful art of cultivating tobacco on their private plantation in the town of Saguane, Cuba. By 1952, La Finca Carmen Cedar employed over 20 workers and grew over 120,000 pounds of tobacco annually. Of course, 8 years later, the Cuban government nationalized the private plantation, and the Rodriguez family was forced to immigrate to the United States. In 1971, the Rodriguez family found a new beginning on the island of Key West and established the Rodriguez Cigar Factory in 1984. That factory stands as the oldest cigar manufacturer in the Florida Keys, preserving the historical cigar manufacturing industry that began in Key West in 1831. As the years passed, new generations of family members have expanded manufacturing operations to Nicaragua, and they're proud to be working with some of the finest tobacco in the world. Rodriguez cigars are exclusively constructed with vintage leaves that have been hand selected, aged, and constructed through the traditional Cuban manufacturing process. If you're ever in Key West, I highly recommend visiting the Rodriguez Cigar Factory and take the $15 factory tour. You'll be able to learn the history of Key West and cigars, and as a memento of your visit, you'll be able to roll and bunch your own cigar to take home with you. You can check out Rodriguez Cigars at www.rodriguezcigarskeywest.com. And today's show is brought to you by Platinum Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova is a family owned and operated premium cigar company. Only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship go into the making of each Platinum Nova cigar. This results in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. The Nova brand and the family's work are a tribute and an honor to their grandfather to always remember him and his infinite passion for the finest cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather, a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for that exquisite cigar experience, pick up a Platinum Nova. You can check them out at Platinum Nova Cigars, www.novacigar.com, and on their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter channels. I'd like to thank my sponsors for out them the show. It's always a little harder to do. Let's get back to the panel. So, reduced cigars. This is the time of the year people talk about their top cigars of the year. There's hundreds of lists that hit the airwaves between now and the beginning of January. Mine obviously comes out on December 31st at the stroke of midnight. But what was the best cigar you smoked this year? We're going to start with Jeff.
Knuckle sandwich.
Ooh,
Okay.
Guy Fieri cigar. It's got to be up there for me.
How about you, Shane?
That's hard.
No, believe me, I sweat it out every year, but
Yeah, I don't have a favorite of the year. I have a few that stuck out to me that just completely wowed me. Some of them were new to me that were released last year and many years before. But for releases this year, the Crown Heads Las Calaveras 22 was really good.
What
Really,
Vitol?
really it was Robusto, the 52, I believe.
Okay.
Yep. And then Patina Sumatra. That was killer. Roma Craft 22 after a few months of rest. That was really good. As far as like older ones, the Crown Head Series E, I smoked one last year. I smoked numerous this year. That was one of my favorites this year. Yeah. I also smoked my first Padron this year, and I'm hooked on them.
Really?
Which you know me in cigars, I've never smoked a Padron, and then finally I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna smoke a Padron. I'm more into the Tatuajes and Roma Crafts and smallerish companies, and then you got to try 1926. All right, I tried it. I fell in love. The 1926 number 90 Maduro or natural. I'm good.
Wow.
Now you know. Those that know, now you know. Welcome to the club.
I know. Yep. And then Atabey, that took over my life the last 2 or 3 months.
That's an expensive cigar that's worth every penny of the price.
Absolutely.
How about you, Casey?
You already know, I'm kind of like Shane there. I smoke a little bit of everything. I don't gravitate towards the, ooh, it costs this and that. You know, I do the podcast with the other ladies, the Four Leaves in Motion, and Arlene is a huge Fuente fan, right? So I've dove into Fuentes a little bit more. So I've been a fan of the Eye of the Shark and also the Queen Bee. But in terms of like my best and my go-to is always a K by Karen Berger.
Oh,
I
Can't go wrong with that.
and I'm
No,
a
you can't.
Lancero fan, but any size, and I love her habanos and the Maduros. I love them.
what about the
Um,
What about the Don Kiki Platinum?
Oh, the Don Kiki Platinum for sure. Yeah, I mean definitely, but her cigars that she has come to put together and blend have just been astounding. I also I don't know, Jimmy, if you were able to catch the show. We had Sanj Patel
Uh-huh.
from from his shop, up in Jersey, up in Bloomfield. And he sent us some of those the SP 1014s and then some of his industry killers. Baby, every last one of you, when they come out, get them. The industry kill, it's like 850. It's gonna be a regular in the rotation. It's a
I think
good cigar.
I think he said the industry killer is supposed to be $6. The
It might even be, yeah. I just saw
Yeah.
one.
Wow.
No, that's right. He just posted that. I posted it in my group. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did post it
So-
for like 650. But
Yeah,
I
so-
think the SP 1014s range maybe up to $10. They generally
Eight.
sell
8, 9, and 10.
if you're
Wow.
gonna buy boxes online, he's got his partner shops that you can, rather than him selling retail or selling online, he'll just forward you to one of the shops
Smart.
and let them sell to you online. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he works with them or whatever, but he keeps them moving cigars. But I expected it to be all right. I know that man knows what he's talking about. I expected to be a solid cigar, but when you have a cigar and it's just like, oh, this was delicious. Like you kind of want to smoke one or two more after that. That's how those two cigars are. They were good.
All right.
So
How about
those are
you?
probably it.
About you, Barry?
This year, probably the best one I smoke. I'm more of a boutique guy. I get into the bigger ones. I'm like Casey. I'll buy them. I see them. I like them. I don't rate them like Jimmy. I'm not a numbers guy. I mean, I am a numbers guy by living, but I either like it or I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, I broke down and I'm a Caffey fan. I'm a Caffey fan. Right now, I just lit up one of his new naked bundles, mid-size fillers. But the best one I've smoked in last year, he's got a new line out of because he's coming out of La Aurora factory now. He's got the signature series, his 5 top. It's the Natural. It floored me. I was just like, it took over. My number one cigar, my go-to is always a Cafe Sumatra. The new Sumatra is better than the old one, but this Natural is just, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal to the point where I agreed to sell for him. So when I retire, I'm going on the road for Cafe.
Oh.
And what is this? You said Caffey, Caffey?
Kafie.
Cafe 1901.
Yes. When you spelled it out, I was like, I can't picture it. What are you talking about?
It's that New York accent. They don't get the right,
Yeah,
but
no, I'm used to that New York accent. One of my girls is Harlem, a little different than your accent, but Harlem born and raised.
But yeah, I think the Cafe Natural is the best one I smoked last year.
So I'll give you, without tipping my hat, because I've announced candidates, I'll give you one in each of my large, medium, and small categories that, I thought was really good cigars. So in the large category, one of the ones that really started to grow on me.
We need to hear from the other guys, Jimmy, before you influence
I
us.
thought we did.
We didn't hear from the
iPhone.
gentleman that's sitting in the house. iPhone.
Jeff?
Yeah,
My-
I can't remember your
my,
name.
Yeah, he just said, he said knuckle sandwich.
Oh, he
Knuckle
Oh,
did.
sandwich.
shit,
Guy
you
Fieri.
sure did. I forgot.
It's okay, Casey.
God,
forgot.
I'm trying to keep this show rolling.
That's
Look, I just wanted to be before you unduly influence us. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
all right.
Anyhow, as I was saying, so my things, I'm not going to give you my top cigar of the year because that comes out on the 31st and the rankings. But I will say that so in a large category, one of the ones that really started to grow on me after smoking a few of them was the J.C. Newman Black Diamond. That's a bold, meaty, tasty cigar. All right. Just
That's an excellent cigar.
Unusual for JC Newman.
yep, but this is their Black Diamond. This is the one they make in collaboration with Fuente. Okay, they make the black. They work all the diamond crowns together, and this has been a reformulated Black Diamond in 2022. So they tweaked it and add a little oomph to it. So I think they got the message to let's get something bold out there for the crowd. In the medium category, I'm just going to come right out and say that I think one of the best cigars in that category is West Tampa, the Attic. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, Ricky Rodriguez, he only started the company in the beginning of the year. I've personally talked to him numerous times since then. He's got well over 300 shops and growing. Okay, so his name itself is helping to sell the cigars, and the cigars are phenomenal. That Attic was just spectacular. So
Is that the West Tampa or the West Tampa Tobacco Company?
Yes. So they have the West Tampa White, the West Tampa Black. Okay.
I smoked the black the other day.
Okay.
Fantastic cigar.
The Attic, it's a little different, and the Attic is a series of cigars that he's going to have that are going to he calls it the attic because it says I'm going to go into my attic with this. I'm going to explain my life through my attic. And the first one was a dedication to his grandfather. So there's like a chair with an old Chevetta leaning on it, to remember his grandfather. So he's going to do these little things as he comes out with it. So that was a really phenomenal cigar. I highly recommend that. And of course, there's many more on the list. And then in the small category, I'm going to say that the one that I rave a lot about is Serafin de Cuba. Okay, over in the sponge capital of Florida. There, they small little shop. Rolls all his own cigars there, sells them directly from the shop. The El Principal de Gales, which is the Prince of Wales Robusto, what he's doing is he's recreating and buying up all the old defunct brand marks of the Tampa area. And then he takes that artwork and he's regurgitating it into artwork for the cigars to give credence to the old brands, but try to make better brands out of them. So that particular cigar is in any time of the day cigar. You can smoke it morning, noon, night, doesn't matter. It goes great with a cup of coffee, goes great with a cordial late in the evening. It is just a very consistent, well-burning, fabulous cigar. So those are three that I'll just throw out there off my list.
Nice. When you're talking about hand rolls like that coming out of shops, especially being in Ybor, I'm always a fan of Odelma and her La Ferrona because those are some good cigars. And then a friend down there turned me on to a place. It's not down to, I don't even know what side of Tampa it's on. Tirador, Tirador. I don't know who rolls their cigars. All I know is he was like, if you want the ones with the bands, I got to charge you more. But we walked in there, dropped maybe, I don't even think it might have been $100 and walked out with like 60 cigars. Good cigars.
What?
I was like, I don't need bands for that. Good cigars, but they sell online too. Tirador, Tirador. I'm gonna pull it up and I'll put it in the little chat.
Put it in the chat. I'll throw it up on the screen when you get it.
Mhm.
What do you all think of, so the big controversy in top cigars of the year, and it shouldn't be a controversy, but it just tends to be because it has to be, is the Cigar Aficionado #1 being the Cuban. Does it bother you that they picked the Cuban to be #1 this year?
So when I saw, what is it, 8 through 2, I said number one's going to be Cuban. And my thoughts behind it, with the price hikes, did they want, are there sales dropping that they wanted to give a little bump to Cuban brands? Maybe. I mean, personally, with their top 10, I didn't agree with any of it. But seeing a Cuban as #1, I was not shocked at all.
How do they
And
determine that? How do they determine the top 10? They do it by sales or by votes or by,
How do they do their top? How does Cigar Aficionado do
Yeah.
it? So Cigar, from what I understand, and the audience can correct me if anybody can say I'm wrong, but what I understand is they go through all the cigars, and obviously they look at the ratings that they've had over the year, because that's going to determine, a set, and then they re-smoke them. They in fact, what was it, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, there was a cigar, and I got to remember which one it was. It might have been the Enclave, or one of those that made it to
the Encore.
#1. And when you looked at the magazine itself, when they rated that, it was like a 94 or something like that, or a 95. And suddenly it became #1 in a 96. It went up a point, right? And I said, how does that happen? And I got corrected. They said, yeah, you re-smoke them, and then you have a panel and you make a decision. I'm like, really? I
so
can
they
see
got a
making a
set number,
decision.
they got a
I
set
can
number
see
of,
I could see re-smoking them when they're tied at a number and saying, maybe let's just have another moment here with these, right? To see how to stack them. But to change the number was kind of weird to me.
But now,
But
who is their smoking panel? Like, is it you guys, right?
no,
Four
Cigar
of you.
Aficionado, Cigar
No, no, no.
Aficionado.
I know, I understand that, but I'm saying, like, who is their panel? Is it a group of 5 guys, right? They smoke the cigars, but now when it gets re-smoked, is it 3 and 2 others, or is it the
Oh, I
same
don't know.
5 guys? Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
that's going to change things too.
of course.
But I'm with you. Unless there's a tie, once you rate it, you rated it. It's like trying to compare. It's like trying to compare like sports greats.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to compare Walter Payton? We can compare him in his best then, and to the guys out here now, or basketball. But it is what it is.
Yeah. That's and exactly. But having the Cuban there, to me, it hasn't been on there for 10 years. All right. So they got a Cuban. Some people said it was an aged Cuban. Okay. Got to question that. I don't know the answer to that, but I've been told it was an aged. So it wasn't like the one they got from this year. It might have been like 2 years old. And that can make a difference in any cigar. Right. But if you look at it, and then if you take a step back and you go, well, if you want to discount the whole Cuban thing, then the Rocky Patel's #1 this year in the United States. So as in the United States, Rocky Patel's #1 cigar, because you can't buy the Cuban. So
Well, you can, but
Which is
just have to
right.
wait a month after shipping.
Which is just going to create a ridiculous black market for things, a more ridiculous black market.
Well, the new price hike on Cubans, I'll never buy a Cuban again. It's insane.
depends on where you are. From what I understand, that I'm going over to Mallorca in February for vacation, and then to Lisbon, and I've been told that in Spain they have the prices locked in at the old numbers. There's an agreement with Cuba. So in Spain, you're
Wow.
supposedly able to buy Cubans at the proper price. The original.
Well,
Bringing those back.
that's nice. See,
Where you
from what I
going?
heard,
Mallorca.
Okay.
yeah, see, my understanding was that across the board, it was a price hike to match what Hong Kong's price point. And like where I used to order from a couple places in Sweden, and you go online and the prices are absurd. I mean, I remember when I was getting in 2018, 2019, I was getting Monte Cristo number 2 10-count boxes for $125 shipped, and now it's 300, 350. They're good. They're not that good.
Well, I had a friend of mine gifted me a Cohiba, a real one. I know him and I know my cigars, so it's a legit cigar.
Glass top, right?
No, not at all. You know, but it was, you know, it was definitely a Cuban cigar. But I had, you know, at the end, I had kind of the same impression from my previous experience some years ago when I lived in Germany smoking Cubans, that they're not the same. Something's changed. Sometimes it's the construction, sometimes it's the flavors are just, they're not aging them as long, they're rushing them out.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot of things they may be cutting corners just to meet the demand. And that could have been part of the reason why they've increased their price, to say, okay, does it make the demand go down, right?
Sure.
And still sell because of it being Cuban, and maybe their quality goes up. I don't know. Time will tell, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, but there's so
But,
many,
you know-
there's so many more I'm sorry, Shane, so many more quality cigars out there.
Yeah.
I think, but
That's what I was gonna say.
100%.
We have so many great cigars to compare them to now, that what seemed great isn't as phenomenal as it used to be.
it's all the
Did you see
name.
there's-
It's all the name.
There's another price hike starting on the 1st of the year for Cubans. So the price hike that happened in this last year, they're going to go up like another 10 to 15% depending on the brand. Which,
Ooh.
yeah, it's insane. And
Yeah,
like
we were-
I have like 10, 15 boxes all from 2018. I could sell them for so much right now. It's insane. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm going to smoke every one of them, but
Oh, the-
it's crazy.
I like that in you.
So Daniel Newfield just chimed in. He says, "Good evening from Saskatchewan, Canada.
Ooh.
I'm
Ooh.
stubborn. I smoke outside, minus 40 or not, in the elements, 365 days a year."
Good for you, Daniel, because it
God
won't
bless
be
you,
me.
Daniel. I'll make sure I send somebody up to clean the icicles hanging out of your nose.
Right?
Yeah,
And
no way,
God,
man. No way.
I used to go camping when I was a kid in Boy Scouts every year during the Washington's birthday weekend. And we went upstate New York and we called it Operation Igloo. And troops from all around the New York area would go up there. It was where the summer camp was that we'd go. So they got all the trails, and all the trails have snow on them. You go sleigh ride down them. But I can tell you, you get up in the morning and there's icicles hanging off your tent from your breath, literally.
No.
And then you would go outside and you get your hot chocolate. And by the time that came from the metal kettle into your metal cup, it was cold. It's like this. It's just, why don't you just give me cold chocolate
Shit,
water?
it's 60 degrees. I just turned the heat on in the garage.
I'm not quite
You're
there.
worse
but
than
it's-
me. You're worse than me, dude.
It's
I
60
hate-
degrees.
Hate the cold. Hate it.
It's-
60 degrees, I would be in my shorts and a t-shirt.
Oh, I'm
Sure.
wearing shorts, but
Happy.
no,
yeah, it's
no. But Jimmy, I got
Shane, come on down to Memphis and Mississippi. Come visit us. You might not
look,
go
man.
back.
It's 62.
Absolutely.
Look at me. It's 62 right now, and I've
come in the
got
summertime so you can use the pool though.
a t-shirt and a jacket. This is actually a jacket and a thermal jacket on. All right, but I am barefoot, so my feet aren't freezing yet. I'll let you know.
This is cigar related, but it's a little off of cigars. What's the best accessory you bought in the last year?
Oh man, my best accessory, hands down, is the baller cutter from Cigar Medics. Hands down,
I got that. That's a good one.
absolute
it?
best. The baller cutter. Okay, and it's in my
It-
other
it-
room,
It
but
kind of
it cuts it like, you know, like a
melon baller
melon
almost.
scoop, a melon baller. So the
It's
blade goes
really
in
cool.
and curls through and puts a concave cut like a punch, but it does a concave cut and pulls the leaf out. So you have to pull it out. You don't have to worry about any loose leaf in it from like the
I
punch.
wanted to call him. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. I forgot to tell him. you know, when you open it, it springs open. They should magnetize that so it keeps it, you know, when you press it down, it closes it, it keeps it closed.
Compression on the
Yes.
spring, he says.
But it's nice, but I got this in the mail. We had Leon. I'm gonna get the right, let me pronounce this. Gregorian from the cigarashtray.com on our show last couple weeks ago.
Oh
He's
yeah,
got this
man,
little-
great ashtrays.
Got this little travel ashtray, right? But I got
You
I got
guys,
a
you
bigger
guys
one.
familiar with this company?
Yeah, I've seen you guys post it. If I
Yeah.
haven't seen it, like I know
And I
what
got-
actual holder.
I had him make this. I got one of these, and I had him put my name on it. It's a travel humidor that's got a built-in. You know,
Oh wow,
top.
that's
And
nice.
it's got, you put a Bovita pack in there, and it holds 3 to 4 cigars, and it's sealed. It's got a rubber seal on it, seals tight.
Nice.
And it's like $35 on his website.
Like a
All
Yeti
right.
cup for cigars.
That's-
I love this thing, man. Love it.
What about you, Shane? It's a good question Barry has.
It is a good question. Beginning of this year, I got a custom-made Sotelo travel case. Absolutely just gorgeous. Holds 10 cigars, natural leather. Amazing. Just a statement piece. I love it.
What about you, Jeff? Got any accessories you like?
It comes in a nice little felt bag too.
Friend of mine got me a humidor from a website. I gifted it to my uncle for Christmas.
Oh,
And yeah, me and my uncle, we give each other like cigars and cigar accessory stuff every year for Christmas time.
okay. Very good. I like
Yeah.
that. That's what we all should do. How about you, Casey?
A girl. So if it's pink or something, I like it. But I mean, I don't have an ending need for a bunch of accessories. I've got a punch, I got straight cuts, you know, I've got a Colibri, you know, V cut, and that's probably my favorite. But I looked up this baller because I feel like that's the best of all the worlds right now, based on what you guys said. So I think I might have to get that. But you know, I like to have my little pokers that, you know, match my
yeah.
outfits and such.
Do you have a utility belt?
I do
That's
not.
what we're missing,
Yeah.
right?
Or a vest, like a fisherman's vest.
Yeah. Well, having
But-
a utility belt to have your cutter, your lighter, your poker,
All your accessories.
you know,
You're
everything
onto
that you
something,
need.
Jimmy.
Huh?
You're onto something. You don't have to keep them in your pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because your pockets just bulge now. I walk into a
See, that's
shop,
what-
man. I bring like 3 lighters with me in case one fails, right? I have 2
Always.
cutters. I got 2 cutters with me.
I do the same thing too.
So the thing with that Sotelo case I got, it's 2 different compartments. The top flips up, and then you have a place for a lighter, a cutter, and then another 2 pouches for whatever you want. And then it also Manny Sotelo works with Troy's Woodworks, who makes custom. Makes custom everything nowadays. His ashtrays are beautiful, but he does like nubbers, little rests, and select draws, or perfect draws. The perfect draw tool, all in custom cast, either wood or like acrylic type thing. And then it holds the cases that Manny makes. It holds his tools in place. So in my case, I can have 10 cigars with 2 Bovita packs underneath the cigars that you never see, a cutter, 2 lighters, a draw tool, a nubber, and a stand.
Is it leather or is it like hard case?
He only does leather, but I opted for a natural leather. So it's gonna scuff up and patina. I love it. His cases are just, top notch.
I have one similar to that a friend got me as a gift. And it's like the size of my girlfriends call it my Bible, because it's like the size of like the old school Bible covers, but it's got the pouches and then the spot. Mine holds about 5. But that one's nice, but it's not as girly as I would like. So for me, I mean, I'll pack enough cigars in here when I'm moving around. And then depending on if they're in cellos or not, I might put some tools in there. If not, they just go in my purse. But yeah, you guys
All right.
need like man cases.
Casey, go check out Sotelo on Instagram. And I've seen him have some white leather with pink stitching and stuff. He'll do any combination you want.
SI or CI?
Sotelo, Sotelo.
Okay.
So the
Spell
other
that
thing
one
I
more-
got,
Spell that one more time, Shane.
Yeah, I'm gonna just make sure I'm spelling it right.
Okay.
So his Instagram is Sotelo Official, Sotelo, and you'll see all his stuff, and it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Darren wants to talk to you.
Look at folks getting these organic
Sullivan.
shout outs from the show.
Doing good. How you doing? Yeah, we'll
But
have
he's
to make
not-
up some time.
Jimmy,
But
what
he's not
time
on
is your Jimmy? What time is your show on New Year's Eve?
I don't do a show on New Year's Eve.
Oh, all right. I misunderstood. When are you
So what I
releasing your-
do is at the stroke of midnight, I will push the article out that has everything in it, ranked, stacked, and so forth. So that goes out. There'll be one more drop of the candidates probably tomorrow. And then I assemble the
Okay.
article, I rank and stack everything, and then I just hit the push button and it goes.
So you send an email out?
Well, anybody who subscribes will get an email, right?
Okay.
You get the email when the reviews come out. So any post that goes out should get an email. All right. So that'll work.
Jimmy,
Yep.
yours is one of the only ones that really matters.
Which one?
I said yours is one of the only cigar rankings that really matters.
Well, I appreciate that. Here's
'Cause
another
we know
little-
we know it's an honest ranking.
Yes, you're not biased at all. You're very just
try not to be, but people still call me out on that once in a while. But hey, I can tell you, I went through the list. Somebody mentioned that to me today, and I was just pulling up my list, and I go, we're just talking about sponsors and where they rank, and I was like, not a single. I could tell you this: not a single sponsored has the #1 cigar. That
now
I can-
out of your sponsors that you advertised earlier. I did not enjoy not knowing it was the M81 at the time when the pack came out, because I didn't let it sit long enough. I smoked them as
Right.
soon as I got them.
Yeah.
But then I bought another pack about 3-4 months later, and I let it sit. And that
It's a better
M81 I
cigar.
thought was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a better cigar once you arrested. This is another device. I just got this in the other day. I don't know. Have you seen this one here? The Cigar Life,
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
right? This thing is, I found this to be quite amazing. Not only of what it does. I mean, they're not the only ones that do this, but I like the way they have it all set up. You got this cool thing where you can put it in as a holder, right? You get there's a little magnet on it so you can stick it to things. But what I really liked was even not using it down to the nub. It's just the drawer was so much nice, like it clamps down around it, and it just gives me like a better drawer out of it.
What's that
So-
called?
It's called Cigar, Ciccar. It's named after the owner, Mark Ciccarillo. It's his name. So he used Cigar for a piece of his name, and that's what he has. And he has a whole, it comes in this beautiful box. I mean, look at this thing. It's like a
Nice.
opening up a watch thing, right? And all the components are in here. It's got a little carrying case. It's got the extra plastic
Yeah.
tips. If you want to share your cigar with somebody, you can just swap tips like a hookah, I guess.
Well, we can
Um,
buy a pick 'em
got a
out.
little
You guys
cleaning.
got enough with your plate.
Got a little cleaning device for it. So yeah, I
Nice.
thought it was a neat device.
That's,
Well,
that's
we'll discuss this later.
like that
Does
one you
he-
turned me on to, the cigar ash for the car, for the vent.
Mhm.
with the little cap, I love that thing.
I'm working a little bit. I'm helping advise those guys. He's got a guy he's brought on to help market that because he had terrible marketing. So what I did is I went and contacted me. He contacted.
Where are you flying? Where are you?
Hey Jeff, I'm going to put you on mute because there's too much noise in the background. He's actually got a marketing guy. He's been asking me to help him understand the market a little better. He's from he used to work for an IBM. He's like 70 years old and he really knows how to break in the market supposedly, but he's trying to learn a little more about the cigar market. So we've been having conversations. So I wish him the best. I mean, it's a neat device.
Absolutely, I love it.
You know,
What device is this?
it's called the Cigar Stash.
Okay.
And what it does is if you basically is designed, if you put your cigar in this device, on the bottom there's a grid, a metal grid. So when you put it in there, the ash falls underneath that. So you can use it like an ashtray in a car, literally. I could take like 3/4 of a Toro and I'll catch all the ash in the bottom of that thing. And you just rotate and you empty the ash out. But the more important thing is it holds your cigar. It has a nice clip that you can put right to your vent in your on your car, and a magnet you could stick to anything that's magnetic, barbecue or golf cart or whatever. But you could put that in there, and in about 15 to 20 seconds, it snuffs the cigar out. Okay.
Okay.
Just lets it just die out perfectly. And you can literally bring that into a restaurant, sit it down on a table, and you don't smell it.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just because
it's really pretty
it's
cool.
got little rings. It's got different O-ring, different ring gauges. So you could, depending upon what you're smoking, it just holds it, and it just a little motion around the outside, but it doesn't allow the smoke to come out.
And it's not expensive by any means. I didn't think.
No, it's like what, $49?
$49.95, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was never smoking in my truck until I got that. Now I smoke in my truck.
I
Yeah.
gotta start stalking you, Jimmy, for the accessories. I've been slacking.
Yeah, this is it was a
That-
couple of goodies came in this time.
That was nothing what I expected it to look like. I like that.
That is, you just looked it up, Cigar Stash USA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very cool device. I think it's something that especially if you smoke in your car, it's great for smoking in the car, because once you get used to, like what I did, at first I tried to take the cigar and put it into this thing, right, while I was driving, and you're kind of pushing away from you. So you just pop it off with the magnet, you just stick your cigar in there and you tap the ash and you take it back out and you stick it back on. So it serves as an ashtray, it serves as a cigar holder, snuffer. So it does multiple things that people need.
And it holds a lot of ash,
Nice.
believe it or not.
It does. Like I said, it held 3/4 of a Toro when I reviewed it.
I got a question for you guys. We recently, the folks at our cigar shop had to go to the city council meeting because apparently some organization is trying to offer them like a $50,000 grant for making the city smoke free. The thing was too broad. I mean, it was just like you can't smoke within 25 feet of a building, so you can't walk down the street smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, it's like New Orleans. It's like New
or
Orleans.
anything.
Where in Mississippi are you?
Ocean Springs. Well, I'm about 10 minutes from Biloxi.
Okay.
Biloxi will never do it, but Ocean Springs is one of those top
Yeah,
two.
shishi bougie.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, we were all like, no, that can't happen, man. You know, our cigar shop's a standalone building. If you don't want to smoke, don't come in the building. It's that easy. But
I mean, it's really that easy. And with the ventilation,
for $50,000, they want a grant and they want to make the city go smoke free. Like, no.
that's not enough.
I don't even understand how you get a grant to pass a law. How does that work? Isn't that like buying politicians? You're in Mississippi. That's right. I forgot.
Wait, did you say New Orleans is smoke free?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't walk down, you literally can't walk down in the French Quarter because their ordinance is like 25 feet and those roads are so narrow. Even if you walk down the middle of the road, you're within 25 feet of a building.
I mean,
Well,
I'll say it helps to have a cute face because that has never stopped me from smoking a cigar on Bourbon Street.
No, I agree, but people, I mean, the casino, they banned it. That when they had the IPC PCR there years ago, right? I think it was what, 2015 or whatever they had
yeah,
it
it was a
there.
few,
Yeah,
about
that
5
was
years.
the
Just passed
that
the
was
law.
that was the last one. That's right. I went to that one.
They were just passing that law, and it was like,
It's outside. I don't get it. You're outside.
And you can drink.
Oh, God
oh,
forbid.
I'm sure there's plenty of weed you can smell.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, yeah, because the weed shops are a dime a dozen. I mean, you see the mobile units, but it's like being in Kentucky. So we've got whiskey, we've got the Bourbon Trail, but we got to go to Indiana for a lounge. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how a state like that has no, like, you can't smoke cigars. It's
Kentucky
ridiculous
is?
to me.
Well,
Kentucky, you can't find a shop near like Louisville.
because they tried to stop alcohol and it didn't work. So now they'll just stop cigars. So we're gonna kill a sin. We're gonna kill one of the sins, right? That's
Wisconsin is not tobacco friendly. We have Madison. I mean, well, Milwaukee's great. You have so many lounges there. You go to Madison's a big enough place, 300,000 people, and you have 3 places to smoke cigars.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's it. You have a
Wow.
dive bar. You have a beautiful place, Maduro, which I love, but it's in a college area, and then you have a newer, bigger place. It's ridiculous. We should have numerous. Places have tried. They want to open more up. Can't get a license for it. Can't do nothing. So
What
we
about
have
in the
our
suburbs? Like if you go to like Verona
New-
or something.
new. So from Madison, the next closest lounge would be Lake Country Cigars, Delafield.
Which is one of my all-time favorite lounges in life. I loved
Yep.
it I went to college with Matt, with the current owner, but I
Yeah.
loved it when Don and Mary Lynn had it.
yeah, I was gonna
Yeah, well,
say
they're
they
in
sold
Life
that,
right now.
right?
They're in Hawaii now, I
Oh,
think, right?
Well, are they in Hawaii? I thought they were
Yeah,
in Mexico.
Maybe
That's
it's Mexico. Okay, yeah,
It's
someplace
like
beautiful.
Moahu.
that's a tough
Yeah, I can't.
place too
Yeah,
to
right?
smoke cigars is Hawaii.
Casey, have
Hawaii
you
is
ever
got-
made it down to Spring Street? It's about just south of Memphis.
Yep,
That's a
I've
nice
been
shot.
down there.
I went up there with Bruce Bush when we were pushing Karen Berger up there.
Okay. Yeah, I missed him when he was in town. I think my mom was in town. It was back in April. And trying to drag her to a cigar lounge is gonna be hard. Okay, I had Karen come, but I think Karen was in Texas at the time. Had Karen come, I probably would have been like, Mom, you gotta come. But Bruce, I was like, I just saw you, Bruce. It's okay.
Hey, so we
But
got
yeah, no, I like Spring Street, and I like the one that's by me is Fat Charlie's over here in Harbor Town.
So one of our viewers, Tracy Thacker Hyatt. Okay, thank you, Tracy, for chiming in. She's talking about I want to open a lounge here in PA. So Barry, knowing people that own lounges and working in lounges, what's some nice advice you would provide to somebody who wants to open a lounge? What are some errors that you think people make when they first open them?
They want to provide everything. You can't. My first thing would be ventilation for sure. If you don't have ventilation, you got to do it right. Don't piecemeal it and put little fans in left and right and here and there, and they just make too much noise. Do the ventilation right. Go with the cigars, the brands. I mean, you got certain brands that people just go by name. I'm not a Perdomo fan, but people buy Perdomo because they know the name.
That's right.
Gotta
I'm
have the
more of a,
classics.
when we were looking to do one down here before these guys bought it, we were going to go 80-20, have at least 20% boutique, and then 80%. But and comfortable chairs, man. Don't
Yeah.
gotta have good chairs.
not only for the lounging area, but if you have a bar area, make sure you got comfortable
Yes.
stools. Nothing worse than sitting on a seat for
But-
2 hours in a bar stool. It gets very uncomfortable. Nice padding.
Take
on
it and take your time and do it right. Don't rush into it. Just get what you want, take your time and do it right the first time.
Beer and wine,
Tracy?
beer, wine, and liquor,
Don't you-
or just soft drinks, depending. You know,
Um,
if you were allowed to do any of that, what would you do?
Well, there's a small shop in Pass Christiana itself that does nothing but tap beer.
Okay.
And he makes a mint on the tap beer. And soft drinks, but down here in Mississippi, you can getting the beer and wine licenses like nothing. I mean,
Like
that's
Florida,
a basic
right.
license. I would stay away from the hard liquor because there's just more legalities that you got to mess with. You know, somebody comes in now, somebody brings in their own bourbon, they drink their own bourbon, they do whatever. It's on them. People are adults; they know when they should drive and not drive. But I personally would stay away from the hard liquor. You either drink beer or you drink soft drink or water.
I think the
Depends on the kind
beverage.
of stuff. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, it depends on the shop. If you're trying to do a super high-end shop, you probably need to
Well,
have
yeah.
full bar. But if you're gonna open up a normal shop, you know, a good mom
Traditional
and pop shop, okay. Beverages are for the pleasure of the guests, right? I mean, you're not a bar, you're a cigar lounge, right? People go there to smoke cigars and maybe have a beverage. All right. If you want to go drinking, then
Go to a
there's
bar.
other places to go do that.
Well, so Casey will
Hey,
know this.
what's your name?
Lake Country Cigars, they have a beer fridge, and that's it.
Mhm.
And they
You go grab your beer, you pay at the
Yep.
counter.
Yep, it's all, you know, we trust you. If you're a member there, you can bring your own bottles there. But I mean, they're 100% focused on cigars, and they kill it.
Right.
And they have set the bar for me as I've traveled through the country in terms of what a good humidor looks like. And
Yeah.
what would you say, Shane? Are they 20% boutiques, or maybe they might only be like 10%, but they've got good ones.
Things have changed. They are
Matt has grown the boutiques.
so it all started. Tyler, a guy that worked there, Tyler. You know
I know
Tyler?
Tyler. Yep.
Tyler's my boy. I love Tyler. When he stopped working at Havana, I think it was, and he started at Lake Country. Their boutique. I mean, to me, they're boutique headquarters. If you want any boutique brand, you go there. Right when you walk in, you got your Roma Crafts, Paustani's, anything boutique. That's where you go.
Okay.
So I'd say
Tried to do that. He tried to do that with Havana, and she didn't want to listen.
Yeah, well, but it's also your market. You know, there's when I was in Florida, I was shocked at how many shops didn't carry many boutiques. I found one place that had like 4 Tatuaje facings. I found it out of the 7 places I went, one carried Roma Craft. If it doesn't sell there, it doesn't sell there. You know, Roma
You
Craft.
got to know your client. You got to know your clientele,
absolutely.
your demographic. You know,
If I was to start a lounge, am I going to carry every brand that I love and that's it? No, because they're probably not going to sell. You know,
Right.
in the area I'm in. But Perdomo, gotta have Perdomo. You'd be crazy not to. Are you
gotta
gonna
have
have a
Perdomo.
whole-
You have to have Rocky. You got to have. Well,
Yep.
you can't always get Fuente. You got to have a special license.
You can at least get, but you can get some basics in the Fuente. You may not
You
get
get
the
the
Opus
basics,
X's.
right. Yeah, you're not going to get the
But-
full up line of them.
And what's the woman's name that wrote into you?
Tracy.
What's her?
Tracy.
Tracy. I
Takahashi.
mean, one, look at your competition and see what works for them and what you feel doesn't work for them. Because just because they're doing it doesn't mean it's the right way or the only way. But 2, be smart about it. Don't recreate the wheel. You just make it a better experience. And like you said, it's like anything retail. You have to know your audience, because music, if I'm a DJ and I only play what I like to hear, folks aren't going to dance or do what they need to do to my music. You have to know, you have to know the room. You have to be able to read the room. But I think you make it an experience. You make it because the comfortable chairs, a pleasant environment. You know, it doesn't have to be too fancy, but it can't be too bare bones either. And you think about where you're starting, because sometimes it's just a matter of having your building and getting in the basics in there and opening the doors. And then you know what your phases are going to be. Because like any other business, right? Sometimes you just got to say F it and open the doors. Because if you're waiting for the perfect time or the perfect thing or the right amount of money, Lord knows there's never that. And whatever money that you want, that you think you're going to spend on that, you might as well go ahead and double and triple it.
You know, I don't know
Because
where,
that shop is going to take her money.
I don't know how it is where you guys are at, but here in Ocean Springs, believe it or not, when you open the place, any kind of business, especially the cigar shop, they come in and tax you on every piece of furniture and every piece of anything you got in the freaking place.
Oh, it's
They
all
tax it?
property.
Yes. Yes. I was like, that's crazy.
They
That's
tax it
crazy.
the first time. Not every
Oh, I'm
year.
not sure.
Or do you
I'm not sure if it
depreciate
depreciates. I would think
depreciate
it does.
over a year and you got to pay the city tax, or is that a state or a
guys,
city thing?
I gotta go. I got a poker game in about 20 minutes.
All right. All right.
Gotta go. Casey, if you ever
Nice
make
chat with you.
anybody ever makes it down here, just give me a holler, man.
For sure. I'll reach out. I'll find you on
Right.
Jimmy's page.
Thanks, guys.
All
Thanks,
right, all
Jimmy. I
right.
appreciate it.
See you, Barry.
Problem. Take care. Yeah, we're pulling up on the hour and a half mark, so we'll probably say what a great show. I think Shane, we'll just turn that into a lounge, man. Invite people over.
Oh, I do. Yep, it's fun.
Okay.
I love it.
Because it must get real
need-
lonely sitting in a tent out in the cold.
You know what? It doesn't. It's
Wait,
either that or
with the
iPad,
an iPad or a laptop, I bet you he's just fine.
Yeah, because we have all of this stuff these days, right?
Zooms, and that's started reading back in 2020 during the lockdown. Haven't read a book in 20 years, and I need to find new stuff to do when I'm smoking. So I'm content. I love it.
All right.
Awesome.
So we'll go around the room here. We'll start with Jeff. Hey, Jeff, unmute. All right, Jeff, any last comments you'd like to make about smoking tents or anything in general with cigars?
Stay safe, where they smoke, and just have fun.
There you go. Thank you. Shane?
If you're smoking where it's cold, get yourself a tent. That's simple as that. Don't suffer.
Casey?
I mean, I agree with Shane. And I think also it just comes to cigars in general. It's kind of like Harley riders. It's not about the bike, it's the ride. Like you want to enjoy where you're smoking. You want to enjoy what you're smoking. Doesn't matter if it's a $5 cigar, doesn't matter if it's a $50 stick. Enjoy what you're smoking.
That's it. I agree with all of that, 100%. And I want to thank everybody for joining. Keep this as the last show of the year. We start season 4 on the 7th of January. I'm hoping to have the top cigar of the year group on that show. We'll see if I can get them to all come on at the same time. But hopefully we'll at least have the #1 overall cigar owner on the show. And that would be the kickoff of the year. And then we roll from there. And if anybody has any suggestions for any guests that we haven't had over the past 3 years, let me know. I'll reach out to them and bring them on. I like to branch out into things like accessories some more. I like to also get into a level of more knowledge building for the consumer. So there's a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about in 23 around those topics.
Jimmy, you might have to come pop on to ours.
I just send me the invite.
Absolutely. We got to figure it out. We've been blessed having just started it in the fall and being able to, we have to like line up the guests. We probably have it covered halfway through next year already.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
we've been blessed.
Yeah, it's good, and then there's always, they're the guests, and then there are what I call the book tour guests too. I like those. They got something new coming out and they want to make the rounds, and this is their platforms to do that, and that's what this is designed for, to help people promote what they
Absolutely.
have. and talk about their product.
They don't, they're all
Anyway, with that, that's the show. I hope everybody has a very happy new year. Let's roll 23
Thanks for having
in,
us.
and maybe things, maybe 23 could be a better year than 22, because 22 wasn't exactly the best of years, but it was
were
better than
still-
2021 and 2020.
Without a
Yeah,
doubt.
we're coming out of a plague right now still.
Yes.
Everything's a little funny.
We're getting there. It's good. You know, I'm going over to Japan in July to climb Mount Fuji. So they've opened the doors. So my son and I,
What?
yeah, I'm climbing Mount Fuji in July.
Oh, we lose a couple of pounds and now we're climbing the 7 Wonders and everything.
You lose 70 pounds. I'm ready to go, man. Ready to go.
You might as well jump on over to China and hit the Great Wall while you're at it.
It's on my bucket list. Right now,
Nice.
I'll climb Fuji. That's my goal. And we're doing it for autism. So we're going to be starting a campaign in February. I'm going to try to get in touch with Autism Speaks charity and get them to allow me to promote it. And then all I want from them is you don't have to say what your name is necessarily. If you want, it can. But I want to see how much money we can raise from that. And the cigar community is probably going to be the largest dollar value of raising, not only by consumers, but by companies. Okay, I'm hoping to get some big companies behind this. Because if I do it right, whatever company or group donates the most money is going to get their flag planted on top of Mount Fuji.
That's
Awesome.
cool.
Me with their cigar.
Yep.
And then the meme that you can use afterwards when I come down, it's like, this is Boston Jimmy. He's 64 years old. He lost 70 pounds, got in shape in 1 year, climbed a 13,000 foot mountain, and he smokes 4 or 5 cigars a day. Any questions?
Right.
I cannot wait for that. That's awesome.
You look at your wife has got a whole new hubby over here.
It's like, I got a whole new wife. She lost 70 pounds too. We did it together.
Oh, so your wife is a hottie though.
I mean, she went and she does like 5 days of Pilates, intense. I do 3 days of Taekwondo, but she's really doing it right. But I've reached my plateau where I want to be. I'm at 192 to 195. Holiday season pushed it up to about 198. I've already brought that back down in 2 days. So it's just, I'm stable at that. I feel good. I go from a double X to a large, 43 waist to a 36. I'm good.
You're back to that. You're back to that college playing weight.
That's pretty much so.
That is good.
Couple of pounds heavier than college. I think it was like 180 in college, but
Well,
yeah.
I will talk to the girls too, because we'll see if we can at least get you on for a few minutes in February once you launch, so that we can advertise that fundraiser as well.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, we'll be doing that in February for sure. So we're gonna launch it at TPE, and then we're gonna go from there from then until July. Keep the whole campaign open, and then we're gonna do the climb, and it's gonna be a climb for autism because my son got his PhD doing autistic research, with the brain, and it's my gift to him for doing such great work. I promised him we'd do this, and we're gonna do it. So everybody.
How long is that hike? How long is that hike expected to take?
It's basically 2 days, but the first day you go up from 5,000 feet is where you start, and you go up to like I'm gonna say maybe 11,000 feet or so, and there's a camp there where you camp out at night. They have these cabins with these little mini bunks, and you get a bite to eat, whatever, and then you go to sleep early. You're gonna knock out around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, because at 1:30 in the morning you get up and you climb to the summit to watch the sunrise. And it takes about 3 hours to climb to that last. And that's the hardest part of the climb too, because it goes that it's like 45 degrees. This is the worst you go at. But they say actually coming down is more dangerous at times because there's loose shale on the trail
Mhm.
going down, and people slip and slide and fall on their ass, and you know, it is what it is. And
Wow.
the oxygen's
Have you been training for this actual climb though now?
well, I do plenty of workout in Taekwondo, so I'm, you know, for an hour I'm punching, kicking, and sparring for an
So the
hour.
stamina is there. It's just
So
a
this,
matter of
so now it's
you're
just the
gonna have to do it.
oxygen level going from sea level to 13,000 feet. I'm basically going to land in Japan on a Sunday. We climb on a Thursday, start it.
Mhm.
So I got like 4 days to get kind of acclimated. So we're going to take some side trips to like Kyoto and climb up into the mountain in Kyoto, go to different shrines and stuff that are up on these mountains. So we'll
Good
be
for
doing
you guys.
climbs. So
Make
it's going to
sure you
be
That
bring a
sounds
lighter.
amazing.
High altitude fuel. You need the high altitude fuel. Don't get up there and not be able to light your cigar.
no, I'm not. I'm probably not allowed to because it's a national treasure. I don't know if they'll
Yeah.
even let you do that. But if I might try it, if they tell me no, I'll just be the stupid American. Like, I don't know.
Take your Cigar with you and you'll be fine.
Yeah, take something like that with me. That's it. We'll figure it out.
I'm excited for you, Jimmy. That's huge.
Yes, I got big plans. So, you know, Mallorca and Lisbon in February, and Tokyo and Fuji in July. And there's a lot of other things in between there that I'll be showing up at. We've got
Are you
Destination
retired
Turf.
now or are you still working?
Well, I'm still working. I
Oh,
got
goodness.
about 2 more years in the tank. So
Okay.
by the time I climb that mountain, when I come down from that mountain, I have about a year and a half left. You're in a serious glide path at that point where you just,
Oh, yeah.
you know, you're
Just make it do what it does.
waiting to the end of the year to say I got 1 year left.
Absolutely. Good for
But halfway
you.
through that year, you put your papers in.
Yeah. There you go. Good for
So I'm
you.
looking forward to it. And then we chase sunsets. That's the goal. Sunsets and
Hey,
cigars.
that's a great goal to have.
So
Well,
anyway,
you guys it's been a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure. Yep.
fun. Stay warm where you are. I'm gonna turn on my
Okay.
heater in here soon. It's like below 60 now, so I'm freezing. And everybody have a good night and a great
All right.
Have a good
new
one.
year. All right.
Thanks for having
Absolutely.
me.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.